It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. Your phone is face down beside you because you promised yourself you wouldn't check it. Your brain is loud. Your body is tired. And somewhere in your chest, a small voice starts to whisper that something is wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a malfunction. It was Tuesday. Your ancestors didn't sleep the way you think they did. They didn't lie down at 10 p.m. and vanish into 8 unbroken hours of darkness. Their nights looked nothing like yours, and the moment you understand why, the 3 a.m. ceiling stare starts to feel less like a personal failure and more like an old habit your body never forgot. Let's go back. Not centuries, not even millennia. Let's go back to before agriculture, before cities, before the idea of a bedtime existed at all. In 2015, a sleep researcher named Jerome Siegel did something almost nobody had done before. He didn't study sleep in a lab. He studied it in the wild. He and his team traveled to 3 of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Tsimane of Bolivia. Groups whose way of life had barely changed in thousands of years. No electricity, no screens, no alarm clocks. He strapped sleep-tracking devices to their wrists and waited. What he found broke almost every assumption modern people have about natural sleep. They didn't sleep 8 straight hours. They didn't even sleep the same amount every night. Average nightly sleep across the 3 groups came out to about 6.5 hours. Less than most modern sleep guidelines recommend. And they almost never napped. Here's the part that should stop you cold. None of them went to bed at sunset. They stayed up for hours after the sun went down, sitting around the fire, talking, telling stories, gently winding the day to a close. Sleep didn't begin because the sky went dark. It began because the fire went low. Darkness wasn't the trigger. The fading of light and heat was. Your ancestors weren't slaves to the sun the way you might imagine. They were reading their environment minute by minute, deciding when rest actually made sense. So if it wasn't the sun controlling their sleep, what was? This is where the story gets even stranger. Because long before Siegel's research, a historian named Roger E. Kirch went digging through something almost nobody thinks to search: old court records, diaries, medical texts, and literature from pre-industrial Europe. He wasn't looking for sleep patterns. He stumbled onto them by accident. Over and over in documents spanning 4 centuries, he found casual references to first sleep and second sleep, not as some rare phenomenon, as a completely normal part of everyday language. People wrote about what they did between sleeps, the way you might write about what you did between classes. The pattern was consistent. People went to bed a couple of hours after dusk. They slept for about 4 hours. Then they woke up, not in panic, not in distress, and stayed awake for 1 to 2 hours in the middle of the night. During that window, they prayed. They talked with a spouse. They tended the fire. Some visited neighbors. Some had sex. Some just lay quietly in the dark, thinking. Then they went back to sleep until morning. 2 sleeps. 1 deliberate break in between. For most of human history, this wasn't insomnia. This was simply what a night was. Think about that for a second. The exact experience you dread, waking up in the dead of night, wide awake, mind humming, was once so unremarkable that people didn't even bother writing detailed descriptions of it. It was just Tuesday. So why did it stop? The answer isn't biology. It's light bulbs. As artificial lighting spread through cities in the late 1800s, nights stopped being dark. Street lamps, then electric lighting in homes, pushed bedtimes later and later. Factory schedules demanded a single continuous block of labor followed by a single continuous block of rest. The gentle firelit transition into night got replaced by a hard switch. Awake, then asleep, then awake again, with nothing in between. Within a couple of generations, the segmented night, an experience that had defined human sleep for thousands of years, simply vanished from memory. Not because our biology changed, because our environment did. Here's where it gets personal. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock inside nearly every cell in your body that governs when you feel alert and when you feel drowsy, didn't get the memo that the Industrial Revolution happened. It's still running ancient software. It still expects gradual light. It still expects a long, dim wind down before true darkness. Instead, most people go from bright screens to pitch black in about 4 minutes. Is it any wonder your brain sometimes doesn't know what to do with that? There's a researcher whose name might surprise you here. Thomas Ware, a psychiatrist at the National Institute of Mental Health. In the early 1990s, he ran an experiment that quietly reproduced ancient conditions in a modern lab. He took a group of volunteers and, for weeks, kept them in 14 hours of darkness every night. No artificial light extending their day, nothing to do but be in the dark. No screens, no stimulation. Within about a month, something remarkable happened. Their sleep split in two. They developed the exact same first sleep, second sleep pattern Kirch had found buried in centuries-old diaries. A quiet, wakeful period appeared in the middle of the night, right on schedule, without anyone telling their bodies to do it. Nobody taught them that pattern. Their biology simply remembered it. That's the twist worth sitting with. The segmented night wasn't a cultural quirk that happened to show up in old records. It's a default setting. Strip away artificial light, strip away the pressure of a single unbroken sleep block, and the ancient rhythm resurfaces almost automatically. Which means that middle-of-the-night waking you've been treating as a problem might actually be your body attempting something it was built to do millennia ago. And getting confused about what comes next because there's no fire to sit beside, no quiet conversation to have, no ritual to fill the gap. Modern life gave you the wake-up. It just forgot to give you the in-between. So what do you do with 3 in the morning now? You could fight it. Most people do. They check the time, feel a spike of anxiety, calculate how many hours of sleep they have left, and lie there with a racing heart, which is exactly the kind of stress response that makes falling back asleep even harder. Or you could remember what that window used to be for. Not panic, not scrolling, just a quiet pause. A few minutes of low light instead of a bright screen. A moment of stillness instead of a mental scoreboard counting lost sleep. Your ancestors didn't treat this window as wasted time. They treated it as part of the night, just a slower, dimmer part. You don't need a fire to sit beside, but you might need to stop treating your own biology as broken, because the truth is you were never designed for one long, uninterrupted block of unconsciousness. You were designed for a night with a shape to it, a beginning around the fire, a middle in the quiet dark, an end when the light returns. Somewhere between the invention of the light bulb and the invention of the smartphone, that shape got flattened into a single straight line, and anything that broke the line started to feel like failure. It isn't. So the next time you open your eyes at 3 a.m., staring at a ceiling instead of a fire, remember this. You're not malfunctioning. You're remembering.